Okay, thanks very much. Again, my name's Mel Carroll. I work with Syncrude. We're one of the first oil sand miners, and we have been doing research and technology development for almost 55 years now. And in fact, we have a department, we have bricks and mortar, we have a well-developed research program, and certainly our relationship with CMIC, which we're fairly new to, we joined about a year or so ago, is beneficial to expanding our capabilities in terms of developing technology faster, and certainly the relationships that we've developed recently with the hard rock miners has been very beneficial and huge potential there for us moving forward. So you're going to see me for a little bit over the next hour. First of all, I'm going to kick off this material transport technology scan, and you'll probably hear me refer to this project in a couple different ways, but hopefully you'll get an appreciation for what this is all about and what the first steps are in this work. So this does work. The surface mining roadmap. So this is a roadmap, and I think I presented this last year, and it was very fresh last year. This is a roadmap that a number of the oil sands miners and hard rock miners put together just over a year ago. And it certainly has been a great sort of focal point and guide for determining what we believe is important in terms of developing technology in the surface mining area. So a bit of an update, I guess, since last time we met. In August, we kicked off the surface mining group. We have had a number of other opportunities to what I'll call socialize and use this tool with CIM, the Global Mining Group, Haulage and Loading conference down in Arizona a few months ago, with the Alberta Chamber of Resources and the Mining Industry Advisory Council with U of A, and just recently with COSI. And in fact, we had a workshop last week with the Canadian Oil Sands Innovation Alliance, and it was excellent. And this reinforced this is an area that we want to work on, which is looking at alternative haulage technologies. So now we're focusing in on one particular element here, exploring, new technologies in haulage material. I'm going to talk about why we're doing this, but I just wanted to provide an appreciation here for the linkages we have across the surface mining roadmap. And in fact, this particular roadmap, I'll call it version 1A, has some additional items in there from some of the work we did last year. In addition, we're going to be modifying this, as we've learned lots over the last week as well, with our interactions with the Canadian Oil Sands Innovation Alliance as well, and we'll continue to hone this roadmap. But certainly it is a great tool for us to get some focus. So, material transport. Why do we care about this? Well, bottom line is moving material in the mining industry is the highest cost in most operations. We have challenges with new product viability, of course, as mine faces move further and further away from our processing plants. At Syncrude, we're experiencing this right now in our next lease development. Our haulage is going to go from sort of the 5 to 10 kilometer range, the 10 to 15 kilometer range, to the 30 to 40 kilometer range. So you can really appreciate that we're very concerned about the costs associated with moving material, and this is a common theme across the mining industry. Reduced availability of capital. We heard a little bit about that earlier today. The desire to increase productivity and reduce unit cost. And then other factors such as GHG, the carbon tax, and other sustainability factors, challenges with Tier 4 engines on very large equipment and things of that nature. Participants right now in this work are Syncrude and Suncor. We're the larger oil sands companies with open pit mines, as well Agnico Eagle, Teck, and Newmont Gold Corporation. So the project scope, and you're going to hear from Adrian in a moment here. He's going to talk about the first phase of this, but really is to sort of understand what is happening worldwide. And you might ask the question, well, you don't you know that now? I mean, you do this all the time, and you develop new projects. You work with engineering companies, and you should know what's out there. But the technology in material transport is evolving just as fast as other technology as well. And it's important that we look worldwide and really have a good idea of what's out there, so that we can make some informed decisions about the next steps that we make in developing the technology in our operations. So, of course, all participants are going to share what they know now, and certainly Syncrude has a lot to share in this world. We've used haul trucks and conveyors and hydro transport systems for many, many years, and we've worked with many different engineering firms over the years as well. And this is going to be very similar across all the participants in this initiative. So, assessing current technology readiness. Is this technology ready for deployment, or does it require further piloting? And then, of course, establishing an evaluation framework. So when we discover something new, how do we determine whether or not it's not only technically ready, but commercially ready and able to be implemented in our operations? And then put together a more detailed roadmap of how we're going to get there, including actual piloting and project development initiatives in the field. So where are we right now? Well, we've got the consortium agreement in place. We've got alignment with the CMIC surface mining working group members. We've got commitments around how we're going to support this work, and we've established the principles of how we're going to work together, in particular around we're going to share everything, and we're going to be completely transparent in the way we interact here. And there's an additional opportunity here with the Canadian Oil Sands Innovation Alliance and their innovation priority area around mining and extraction within the oil sands industry to learn from some of the work they've done recently as well. So no duplication, which is one of the key the key sort of principles of good collaboration. So we are weeks away from finalizing this and kicking off the project and starting to really talk about it. So you'll hear me talk about communication is one of the most important aspects of how we work together. So essentially what we've there we go. What's the program outcomes? Adrian's going to talk about this a little bit more. But we want to understand what the current technology options are out there for long-distance material transport. We are doing this because we want to reduce the technical uncertainty. We want to understand the economics behind this. And we want to understand the technology development opportunities. So next steps are independent pilot demonstrations, pilot with other development opportunities. So many of us are also looking at other technology areas. Is there an opportunity to combine pilots, commercial scale pilots, phased in technology deployment if technology readiness is where it needs to be, or full deployment? So this technology scan is going to help inform next steps, and certainly part of that will be how are we going to be working together as we progress here. So my computer is not as fast as this one. How are we working together? Well, resource sharing, cost, people, location. And certainly we want to look for what we call learn and earn opportunities. So are there opportunities, lower risk opportunities within our operations where we can test some of the new technology and still actually have it integrated into our operations and earn something while we're doing it? Looking at it in terms of modularity, flexibility, moving equipment around to different sites or moving ores around to different sites. There's certainly a difference between hard rock and oil sands, and we want to keep that in mind as we actually define the scope of this work. And then, of course, looking for funding, leveraging as we develop the technology as well. And ultimately exploring development partnerships with technology providers, including vendors. And really, if the technology exists, it's proven, it's cost effective, connect with the operators, whether they're in Canada or elsewhere in the world, to observe and learn firsthand and implement and share experience with the CMIC members. So through all of this, I'll call it exemplary change management, and one of the key components of that is really talking openly about what this is all about, what the benefit is, and get that buy-in in our operations. So it's one thing to, identify some new technologies, but if you're not integrating the potential into your mine planning, then you'll never know really what the potential is worth to the organization. So that's going to be part of how we take it to the next steps once we're informed on what's out there, is internally within our organizations, how do we determine what the potential value is. And then just in closing for myself, and then Adrian is going to talk about the first phases of this technology scan. I just want to bring us back to sort of the risk in the technology development and the collaborative model. And this was actually an output of the workshop that Deloitte facilitated a year and a bit ago in the development of the surface mining roadmap. So are we managing the risk of change? What about funding? What about communication? What about IP? What about the enablers and technology windows of opportunity? And we certainly need to have those clearly identified within our own organization. We know that we need to have technology selected in the next 5 years for some of our new lease development, or it's just not going to happen. So those clear opportunities, windows of opportunities for technology deployment have been identified. And then lack of industry or support on key initiatives. So I put a check mark by all of these because I believe that the program that we are assembling now addresses all of these in our approach. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Adrian, and he's going to talk about the first phase of this work and the technology scan. Thank you.